Oh man, the Hawks have reached aesthetic peak again. Yes. Yes. And they came back from 3 goals down to win a game and then 2. Oh, that makes me so happy. I'm so glad they're back. Hey y'all, it's Alex. Welcome back, and let's talk about the Chicago Blackhawks again. Once again, talk about the most recent week. We got 3 games to cover. Let's go right into it. And so they're coming off a loss against the Colorado Avalanche, who have just been a wagon this season, so I'm not going to blame them too much for losing that game. And they only lost it by 1 goal in a 1-0 shutout. They get the Minnesota Wild next, so it's not really much easier. The Minnesota Wild are another good hockey team. And, dude, they played like the better team through the first half of that game. I'll tell you what. Couple of good chances right out the gate from Wyatt Kaiser. Not able to put one in, but hey, that's a nice start, sending a message early on. In that first period, they were controlling the pace. Artem Levshunov nearly put in what would have been his first NHL goal in late in that period, but he hit the post, something that the Hawks will get very familiar with in this one. And so we get to the second period, there are no goals, but Chicago is just walking through this Minnesota team. They're doing whatever they want right now. Then 5.5 minutes into the second period, Jason Dickinson able to just poke his stick out there and keep the puck down low in the Wild zone to get some reinforcements there. And he circles around the net the long way, away from where the puck's going, to try and free himself open. Puck squirts out in the middle of the slot, and he's right there. Like, right there. And it's a snipe. Just the second goal of the season for Jason Dickinson. Beats Philip Gustafsson, and the Hawks lead 1-0. With about 8 minutes to go in the second period, after off of a pad save from Spencer Knight, it's Tyler Bertuzzi who breaks it out for the Chicago Blackhawks offense. Lead pass up ahead to Connor Bedard, who then drops it back for Bertuzzi as he's skating behind him. Sam Renzel, mind you, a defenseman, working his way up the ice, free on the left side, cross ice, backdoor tip in for Connor Bedard. Mwah, oh, beautiful passing play for the Hawks. And they're up 2-0. Oh, that was a thing of work. Anyways, back to the game. Spencer Knight able to cover up a shot that gets through his 5-hole so slow that it stops on the goal line. And he's able to cover it up with his glove as no one can touch it and push it across. And so they get out of that one. And Minnesota's on the power play, so they're able to kill that off. And a couple minutes later, the Hawks score again on a beautiful 2-on-1. Tyler Bertuzzi with his snipe. But Connor Bedard holds onto the puck at the blue line for a little too long. And it's called offsides. And you're just... That was a moment to go up 3-0 on a good team in the Minnesota Wild. You cannot let them take momentum. And that's exactly what they did. They scored on a dirty goal right before the end of the second period. I mean, literally, it bounced off, I think, the shin of Tyler Bertuzzi up in the air and dropped in the net off the crossbar. Just, what are the chances? They get a lucky break like that, and you go into intermission, instead of up 3-0, you're up only 2-1. And then the Wild get another dirty goal on a tip-in to tie it up. And now it's like, you had 3-0 right there. It gets called back for offsides. And now the game is tied. Just wonderful. And so the Hawks are literally outshooting the Wild 2-1 in the early stages of the third period. And they are tied with them. You hate to be on the losing end of these types of games where you outshoot your opponent and outshoot your opponent in a big way and lose. It happens a handful of times every year. The Hawks have definitely won some games like this where they were outshot like 40-18 and ended up winning in overtime 3-2 or something. You hate to be on the losing end of these types of games, and the Hawks, they got to find something. Luckily, they do just a few minutes after the Wild tie it up. It's Connor Bedard, hemmed in the near boards, and just holds onto the puck for long enough to spring Artem Levshunov open. beautiful pass across the ice to Levshinov, who then makes a nice move to cut back across, backhander, off the post and in, and Artem Levshinov gives the Hawks the lead 3-2 on his first career NHL goal. Congrats to Artie. He's had so many great plays this season. He's definitely been a guy that has been finding guys open. He's finding assists, and he's killing it in that department. But now it's his turn to be on the receiving end of a nice pass and finishing the play himself for his first NHL goal. You'll love to see it for the second overall pick. And the Hawks are back up 3-2. Spencer Knight makes a big save on a breakaway, and you're feeling, all right, the Hawks have momentum back. Feels like they're going to close the door here. But it is the Minnesota Wild. They have been a good team this year. Can't really sleep on them, and the 2 goals that you have let up have been dirty goals. And they let up another one. About 9.5 to go. It's just thrown down, tipped wide by Matt Boldy. Spencer Knight sprawling out of the crease. Matt Boldy sitting in front of the net. No one's covering him. It's a simple, easy pass, wide open cage, game tied. The Wild have not played pretty in this game, but by God, did they tie this thing up with a couple of lucky breaks. The Hawks have been playing like the better team. They're making the better plays. And yet, that's the beauty of hockey. It doesn't matter. You can outplay a team for 50 minutes and yet score 1 goal out of it, and they get a couple lucky breaks and they win 2-1 or something, right? Like, that happens. So now it's tied, and you're like, okay, great. You have now had the lead 2-0. You have let them tie it. You have regained the lead and lost it. It's 3-3. You better go out and win this thing. Hawks winning a power play late. They hit the post again. I swear, they hit the post like 4 or 5 times in this game. It was ridiculous. And then you get to overtime. Ilya Mikheyev takes an interference call after blowing up Joel Eriksson Ek in the middle of the rink. Wild go to a 4-on-3 power play. You know how this ends. Kirill Kaprizov, after not playing great, went out just a rocket by Spencer Knight, and the Hawks lose. Kaprizov saves his best moment for last, ends the game in overtime. And the Wild, after not playing a great game and getting a couple lucky breaks, walk out of Chicago with a win. And you just sit there and wonder, how in the world do you lose this game? But they did, and that's not good. So they get a point, but it's not a satisfying point because they had to lead the entire game and could not finish. This is one area that the Hawks have really, really struggled in this year. That is games that are decided past regulation. They're now 1-5 in this year. That's not good at all. Their lone win coming against the Anaheim Ducks at home in mid-October. So it's been over a month, well over a month, since the Hawks have won a game in overtime, and they just continue to find ways to lose games that go past regulation. They've only pushed one game to a shootout, and they lost that game to Vancouver. But they got to find a way to win a couple of these games in overtime. Those extra points that they are missing out on are going to prove very, very costly come the end of the regular season. I just know it. Look, that one stings a lot. You should not lose that game. You are at home. You are an offsides call away from being up 3-0. And you let that offense or offsides call change the game. Can't lose that one, man. And you regain, and the worst part is that you regain the lead. It wasn't like you let up the lead 3-2 and then tied it to force overtime. No, you had the lead 3-2 and you still couldn't get it done. That one's frustrating. But now they get the Nashville Predators at home on Black Friday. The Nashville Predators have not been a good hockey team, but they have been the bane of the Blackhawks for like 7 years now. I swear. It's frustrating that ever since the Predators swept the Blackhawks in the 2017 Stanley Cup playoffs as the 8 seed when the Hawks were the 1 seed, like, Nashville has continued to just beat Chicago. They have not, recovered. The Hawks haven't really been to the playoffs since. Their one playoff berth was only a playoff berth because the playoff field was expanded because of a global pandemic. And they haven't been back to the playoffs since. And they keep continuing to lose to the Nashville Predators over and over and over again. But they're playing better this year. They should win this game. They should win this game, right? And what's even better is they get to play in uniforms that Hawks fans have been dying to see again since the days of the late 2000s, early 2010s. It's time for the Black Alternates to make their triumphant return. Man, these threads are elite. Some of the best alternate uniforms in the National Hockey League. It's so simple too. All you really do is swap the red and the black on the jerseys, and you get a great alternate uniform for one of the league's most historic and storied franchises. Also, I got to give a shout out to my brother for letting me wear his Taves black alternate. Love you, bro. Thanks for letting me do this, because these uniforms are so nice, and it feels warranted to wear these when we're talking about these next two games. And look, I gotta say, UC Saros, I don't know what it is, man. He always shows up against Chicago. Had an off year last year, but hey, he showed up against Chicago last year. Shows up here again. Connor Bedard had a good chance in the first period. Couldn't get it by him. Hawks get 6 minutes of power play time off a holding call and a high-sticking double minor because Ryan Donato drew blood, and they couldn't score on it. Though Ryan Donato has the puck with a couple seconds left on that double minor, carries it into the Predators' zone. It expires, and he just throws it on net, and it's a great shot. Beats Saros, and Ryan Donato gets the first goal in the Black Alternates return. 1-0 Hawks at the end of the first. Hey, he scored right out of the power play that he was able to draw because he took one for the team, drew some blood on the high sticking, still has the gauze in his nose when he scores this goal. I mean, that's a great example of why hockey players are just tough as nails, man. You want another great example from this week? Kyle Palmieri. I'm pretty sure everyone who follows the NHL as a whole has seen this. The dude, if I remember correctly, he tore his ACL and then got up as he's heading to the bench. The puck ends up coming by his stick, and he assists on a goal because he finds someone on the aisles coming into the offensive zone, and it's another touch pass to set up the goal. He gets the secondary assist as he, if I remember correctly, tore his ACL and was heading to the bench. You haven't seen that play yet? You should totally search up because it's crazy stuff. Anyways, let's talk about the second period. Actually, I don't want to talk about the second period. That wasn't fun. That wasn't fun. That was the moment when we remembered, oh yeah, Arvid Soderblom's in net. Well, that sucks. Because there were some softies there. Letting Matthew Wood come in unannounced on the right side, snipes it right by him early in the second. Then they let Steven freaking Stamkos just glide in behind the entire defense. Actually, no, he doesn't glide in behind the defense. He walks right in front of Wyatt Kaiser, and then just a backdoor tip-in by Arvid Soderblom. Like, how are we letting that up? It's Steven Stamkos. You can't let him roll right in. That's stupid. Hawks now got to play catch-up after losing the lead. And with about 8 minutes left, Connor Bedard has a great chance. The net's pretty much wide open. He gets the puck for a one-timer, and UC Saros is in the right place to make that save. Really nice stop. Pretty poor shot placement from Connor Bedard, which you don't see that very often from 98, but that one he's going to want to have back. Thankfully for Connor, the Hawks would tie it up a little later, I think on a separate power play. And it's Ryan Green who's left open in front of the net. And he got it just under the crossbar to beat Saros and tie it up at 2. Which, is very nice. Ryan Green, he's producing a little bit. He's a nice depth piece. He was playing on the first line in this game with Bedard and Burakovsky. They're really switching it up a little bit. There really isn't a solid top line for the Blackhawks. It's just basically whoever plays with Bedard that night. By the way, very nice find for Andre Burakovsky from behind the net. Ryan Green's wide open in front. Love to see that on the power play. It's good that they tied it up, but with about 3.5 left, they let that up. It's just a turnaround shot on net just to throw it in front to Soderblom. He makes the save. It comes right out to Luke Evangelista, and he just wiggles with the puck for like 3-4 seconds. Like, oh, I'm going to shoot it. Oh, I'm going to shoot it. Maybe not, maybe not. He's got Alex Vlasic trying to like read whether or not he's going to shoot it, which that's what you want. That's the way the defender's going to react when the shooter's kind of pump faking a little bit. But then he finally lets it go, and it goes right by Arvid Soderblom. Like, seriously. Can he not let something like that in? Please? Like, that shouldn't go in. He just held onto it for like 3 seconds, fiddling around with it, and then is able to pick a corner. And then in the middle stages of the third period, the defense is caught behind. Crevier's got to play against Evangelista, who's got the actual puck. But they got Nazar and Teravainen back. There isn't the second defender, and Ryan O'Reilly's just skating right in the middle of the formation. He's wide open, and what did I say? It's a one-on-one against Arvid Soderblom. Who wins it every time? The puck shooter. Arvid Soderblom cannot make big saves like that. That's why he's a backup. Lets it up, and it's 4-2, and it feels like it's over. Hawks didn't play well to end this game. They get a lucky break off of a weird bounce off the board. Saros is completely taken out of the net. Teravainen's there, 4-3, but the Hawks get absolutely nothing late in the game and can't tie it up. They lose 4-3 to Nashville. They lose again to Nashville. They can't beat Nashville. And my disdain for the Nashville Predators is documented on this channel. I wouldn't say well documented. I've only covered 2 full Hawks seasons prior to this one, and they were a couple of years ago, but you go back and watch some of those videos against the Nashville Predators where they lost. Like, I am so tired of this team losing to the Nashville Predators over and over and over and over again ever since they got swept in 2017. It's infuriating. It's ridiculous. Can this team just find a way to win a couple games against this Nashville team who's probably going to be a bottom feeder again this year? They cannot lose games like this at home. This loss is so much more frustrating than their loss against Minnesota, because at least Minnesota had to get dirty to win that game. They had to grind for their goals. They had to really wait for the right opportunity to maybe tip it by or get the net open. Nashville was just gift-wrapped. So many grade A chances, and they didn't miss. Just ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And now they get to play the Anaheim Ducks, who have been very good this season. Probably the surprise team of the 2025-26 season so far. They're playing very well. And I will admit, I'm not super surprised, because that team, I feel like, has been waiting for the breakout. They've got good pieces. Jackson Lacombe, Olin Zellweger. They've got Cutter Gauthier, who's been on a heater this season. And, oh, by the way, they've got veteran presences in Chris Kreider and Alex Killorn. Honestly, Anaheim's thriving after they traded away Trevor Zegras last year. And I'm not going to lie, this Anaheim team's going to be tough to beat going forward. They jumped out the gate in this one. I mean, literally. They were up 2-0 before a minute had gone by. They scored 15 seconds in from Cutter Gauthier, just putting it right by Spencer Knight. I mean, that was a nice shot from Cutter Gauthier, and he's been playing very well. But, like, dude, 15 seconds in? And then it gets worse. Spencer Knight makes a pad save, and the rebound goes right to Zellweger, and he picks that corner. And they're not even a minute in, and they're already down 2-0. You serious? Then the Hawks fans all realize that they got to play Peter Mrazek, who just played for them last year and had played for them the last couple of years. They don't like him. He wasn't that great. So then you're like, okay, maybe you got a chance to really do some noise here because it's 2-0, but there's a whole game ahead of you. And then it would get harder because about halfway through the first period, it'd be Beckett Seneca, who I forgot to mention earlier, former 3rd overall pick, throws it towards the net. It goes off of Chris Kreider's skate and into the back of the net by Spencer Knight. Anaheim leads 3-0. Oh, by the way, that was Chris Kreider's 600th NHL point. So now you're down 3-0 in the middle of the first period. Anaheim is running you out of the building right now. What do you have in you? Well, the Hawks will get the next goal, which is always important when you're down 3-0. You need to get the next goal. You can't afford to go down 4-0. I mean, not like you can go down to afford to go down 3-0 in a lot of games either. But they get a goal late in the first period on the power play after a very nice tip from Tyler Bertuzzi's able to get it by Peter Mrazek. And so you go into the first intermission down 3-1. It doesn't look nearly as bad, but you're still trailing, and Anaheim heavily outplayed you in the first. It doesn't even need to be said. Spencer and I had a very bad first period, letting up 2 goals in the first minute and 3 in the period on like 10 shots. Not good. Not good at all. But you know what? Spencer Knight played very well for the rest of the game. I will definitely give him a lot of credit. The guy tightened it up after going to the locker room at the end of the first period. And his stellar play throughout the rest of the game opened the door for the Hawks to go down and tie this thing. And about 7 minutes in to the second period, that's what they would do. They get, or I wouldn't tie it, but they get closer as Burakovsky's able to spring Bedard and Green on a 2-on-1. Yes, Bedard, Burakovsky, and Green was the starting first line again in this one. Bedard with a beautiful play on this 2-on-1. He sends the pass over to Ryan Green, who's able to put it by Mrazek, but the subtle thing from Connor Bedard that makes this so great is the fact that he's able to pretty much move Radko Gudas off of Ryan Green and towards Connor Bedard right before he makes that pass, leaving Green with a lot of space to make the play and put it by Mrazek, which he did. So you got to give Connor Bedard a lot of credit on that pass, and you got to give credit to Ryan Green for putting that thing by Peter Mrazek. Hawks cut the lead in half, and now all of a sudden, hey, this is a game again. And it was after this goal that Spencer Knight really was able to step up for this team. Made a couple of big saves. The Hawks had plenty of chances to go tie this thing, but Peter Mrazek was making a couple nice saves. They couldn't put one in by him. And Anaheim was getting some really good chances. They weren't getting a lot of sustained pressure, but when they got a chance, it was a good one, and Spencer Knight was making some good saves. Hawks go on the power play a little over halfway through the second period, and really early on, it's a steal, and it's a one-on-one look. Beautiful save for Spencer Knight. And then at the tail end of the power play, they get the second unit out there. Teuvo Teravainen draws the attention of 4 Ducks to him, and he's able to find Colton Dach in the slot. Bang! It goes by Mrazek. It's Colton Dach on the power play in the alts to tie it up. What? Way to come through, Colton. What a nice play from Teuvo Teravainen to free him up and get him that great opportunity he doesn't miss, and the game is tied at 3. Ducks get a power play late in the period. Spencer Knight shuts the door, and after this team was down 3-0 midway through the first, we're tied going into the third. This thing is far from over. And it would be early in the third where the Hawks would go on a power play again, where the big moment of this game happened. Actually, one of the big moments of this third period. There were mainly 2. Actually, one of 2 big moments in the third period. I'm forgetting something that happens a little afterwards, but Alex Killorn gets a good look at Spencer Knight right at the beginning of this power play. He's able to maneuver around. Spencer Knight's able to stop him initially, but he's able to rebound, grab the puck, and shove it in. The problem is the play is off sides ever so slightly. The Hawks' challenge was a good challenge. They're able to get the offsides call, and Anaheim does not retake the lead on a shorthanded goal. And now, game just keeps going. And then now we're halfway through the third. It's still tied. And then something crazy happens. Peter Mrazek would have to leave the game after it seemed like he sustained an injury. And so in comes Ville Husso. And he is put to work immediately. Has to make a couple of nice saves. Makes a save on Rinzel. And it looks like the Ducks are about to clear. But a backwards pass does not find its recipient. Instead, it finds the hands or the stick of the one guy on Chicago the Ducks cannot leave open. Connor freaking Bedard. And what does he do? He channels his inner Patrick Kane in the shootout. And the hands, man. The hands. Bang, 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 bang. Boom! Right by Husso. Hawks take the lead with half a period to play. Connor Bedard with a showstopper to put Chicago in front. Beckett Seneca would get a nice feed in front with about 4 minutes to play. Spencer Knight says no. They pull Ville Husso with 2 minutes to play in the third. And literally immediately after they pull the goaltender, Connor Bedard, he takes it at the blue line, throws it to the net. Bullseye. Game over. The Blackhawks come back from down 3-0 in the first half of the first period to win 5-3 over Anaheim. That is what I'm talking about. For their first win in the return of the Black Alternates, that's a nice way to get it. This one makes me feel really good going forward. After a couple of rough losses, they end this homestand with a big win against a tough team who's in a similar position as the Blackhawks. They haven't made the playoffs since 2017. They weren't even in the field in that 2020 expanded tournament for the COVID year. And now it looks like the Ducks are well on their way to getting back to the playoffs. And this is a big win for Chicago, man. That is big. They're now 2-0 against Anaheim this year. They're going for the season sweep here at the end of the week on Sunday. I like where this is heading, but hey, they're going to be tested. This isn't going to be sustainable, but it's nice to give the home fans a win before going away for a little bit. I would like to see them take control of a game here this next week against some tough teams. And I'm going to address this right now. Chicago is playing Vegas right now as I'm recording this video. I'm only including these 3 games for this specific recap because it's a nice cutoff. It's the end of a 4-game homestand, and their next 4 games are all in this same road trip. It feels disjointed for me to include this Vegas game tonight. I'm going to hold off on that until next week. So if you came here for that, you're going to have to wait till next week. Sorry about that. But hey, they're winning right now, so I'm hoping they get a big win out in Vegas because this road trip ain't going to be easy. They have Vegas tonight, and then it's the LA Kings twice in 3 days at Crypto.com Arena. That I think is a little weird. They're playing in the same building on the road twice in 3. NHL schedule makers, I haven't seen something like this really like ever. And then they got a back-to-back included there because they play the Kings. It's Tuesday. They play them on Thursday, and then they play them on Saturday as well. And they have to play Anaheim on the road on Sunday. That's not fun. That's not fun at all. Unfortunately, I will not be attending the Hawks-Ducks game in Anaheim, though I would love to this year. I have something else I am doing that night, so that sucks. Of course, right? The one time they play in Anaheim this year, I got another thing I'm doing, funnily enough, in Anaheim. I'm going to see a concert. So, SOL, I don't know, right? So another big week coming up for the Chicago Blackhawks. Man, they can't escape the tough teams right now. Western Conference is pretty tight right now as well. So big week coming up to try and maybe make a statement on the road against some tough Pacific Division teams. So you're not going to want to miss that here on this channel whenever that video comes out next week. Yeah, anyways, if you enjoyed this one, that's it. Like the video, hit the subscribe button if you really liked it and want to see more videos from me. Keep the conversation going in the comment section below. Let me know what you think of the Black alternates. Let me know what you think about the state of the team right now. And if you just like these videos, let me know and drop a comment. That'd be great. Anyways, I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.